guys, and welcome to the Krash Palisades server for the first time in over 2 months. Oh boy, a lot has happened since then. You know, we've had catastrophic technical failures, which I'll tell you about in a minute, very quickly. Massive events, and all sorts of stuff. But yeah, so why haven't I recorded? But it's good to be back anyway. Yeah, I haven't recorded because for a while my computer was dead. I ended up having to rip the thing apart and rebuild half of its interior. And also I had a load of work to get in from uni, but now that's mostly out the way. We can get back to this. And boy, what a time to start recording, because the last few days have been insane. It was Insomnia 51 in Coventry. Now, for those of you who don't know, Insomnia is a massive LAN party, but occasionally they get special guests. So we heard Beatpop Fox was going, and naturally when Beatpop Fox goes to a con in Europe, his animators for Don't Mind at Night and very good friends of mine, Cass and Kong, go as well. So I heard they were going, and yeah, booked my tickets. And as well as that, because we're on Krash Palisades, Mellors went as well. So I met up with them, and boy, the weekend was absolutely crazy. It was insane. We're going to talk about it for a bit now, because this one's just going to be just a bit of a talky episode. We're not doing anything big. We're just basically digging up a desert for the train station. Haven't forgotten about that. I mean, you probably saw a minute ago. It hasn't changed since I started doing it at the end of 2012? No, 2013. But, you know, as I say, having met Mellors and the look of disapproval that it wasn't done, yeah, I should probably pull my finger out and get working on it. But yeah, so it went from the Friday to the Sunday, and I've got a lot to tell you about. I mean, as soon as I got there, I got into Coventry. I queued up in this massive line, and I mean, it was a totally crazy line. It took me about an hour to get through, and it was even stranger because, hold on, oh crap, this is the wither zone. I'm digging out the wither zone. Okay, well, I won't dig anymore. We're meant to be having a wither fight one day. Don't know where, don't know when, no. But yeah, I got to Coventry. Got to the Rico Arena, which is massive. It's a stadium with a casino and arena built onto it. And that's where they moved to from Telford this time. So I got there, joined this queue, like I said, it went on for an hour. In that time, Mellors skated down from his hotel. No, he didn't. Did he skate? Can't remember. Got in. He went through his queue, and he had the same kind of ticket as me, which was even more annoying, and got in. But it was like, once again, 7th Circle of Hell just never ended. Until eventually it did. But that was because, like, everyone was queuing up and having the computers checked to make sure they weren't carrying any bombs in them or something like that. But I got in, walked in into the main exhibition hall. I immediately find Cass and Kong. Immediately find them. They're standing there with a guy called Dan, and I'll tell you about him in a bit because he is one to watch out for. I mean it, he's incredible. And I just say hello, we hug and that. Hand me over some, I don't even know what it is. Some like chocolate balls with pistachio in the middle of them for my mum. And they got me something nice from Minecon 2013, the little papercraft set, so that was really kind of them. And a big shout out to them because they are awesome guys. I mean, really awesome. So I meet up with them, we have a chat for a bit. And then Mellors appears. So say hello to him, we wander around, go to a couple of panels. But things got interesting later on into the day when the cosplay started. Oh man, we had, you know, we had professional cosplayers, amateur cosplayers, all sorts. And the guy that won in the end was Iron Man. Someone had built an Iron Man suit with fully, you know, all lit up arc reactors and repulsors and the eyes. It was amazing. You know, the guy had obviously worked really hard on it. He deserved to win. The audience voted, and I think he won like an Asus ROG headset or something, so it was a pretty good prize. But after that, they decided to get, you know, the audience up. You know, they were going to do an audience giveaway, and in true Insomnia style, they humiliate the audience and then they win a prize. And this time, you know, it was a dance-off, and I think that was for another ROG headset or something. I was standing in the room, and I was standing there, I wasn't sitting down, and Mellors was with me. He had his camera and he was filming it, and you might see this on his channel. And I looked to the back of the room, and there's a horse sitting there on one of the chairs, just watching. It's one of those, you know, those rubber masks that, you know, that everyone seems to wear. They seem to be like all over the internet. But they're that well done that, you know, you can't help but do a double take, and he was just sort of sitting there watching the cosplay competition. So when it comes to the dance-off bit, you know, someone spotted him, spotlight goes in, and everyone demands that, you know, the horse goes up and dances. The horse, completely bewildered, just sort of staggers up and grabs a microphone. Oh man, I'm gonna die soon, aren't I? I'll have to get back on my horse. Ride back to spawn. Yeah, the horse sort of gets up on stage, and he's completely bewildered. So the guy, you know, he does his thing. He takes his microphone. What's your name? What's your name? Gets to the horse. Horse just takes the microphone, sticks it in the mouth, and shakes it round for a bit, and then hugs the guy. And then the horse, I don't know, I think the horse started breakdancing or something. But that he won at least, and he deserved to win because it was fair enough, getting up on stage like that. But you can get away when you've got a mask on, I suppose. So that was all filmed, and then we met back up with Cass Kong and Beatbop Fox, because he was there, and Dan as well, and Mellors. We all went up to Frankie and Benny's after they did shots. So there was a somewhat intoxicated Beatbop with Cass and Kong, and as we were walking, because behind the Rico Arena there's a great big, you know, retail park with all sorts of stuff there, with, you know, your classic, you know, retail park with all the shops, and then there's a couple of there's a burger joint or a pizza place. So we went off to Frankie and Benny's, and as we were walking down, into an underpass, we found an abandoned Tesco shopping trolley, or shopping cart or whatever, in which immediately Beatbop jumped in. I ended up pushing his ass up the hill, and there's video of that as well, so once again, check Mellors' channel, and I get up to the top, and we've got the likes of, you know, Element Animation, Ant Venom, the Hypixel guys, and I'm forgetting my horse again, aren't I? Can't forget the horse. All of them, you know, So Totally Toby, Diamond Minecart. They all tell me to let him go as we're pushing him uphill, so I do. And he starts rolling back towards a load of people, and it knocked them down like bowling pins had I not caught him again. But I shunted his arse up that hill, and we went into Frankie and Benny's, and it's like table for 32. So we all sit down and we all, you know, get stuff, and I didn't order anything, but because there was that many people there was a fair bit of confusion, and we ended up with surplus food. So I was just sitting there, and a plate of Cajun chicken ended up on the table. The waitress says, you know, well, it's getting paid for, so you might as well eat it. So, you know, I did, and it was really nice. So I'll remember next time, go to Frankie and Benny's, get Cajun chicken. And what was really good as well was the multiplayer guys took the bill. I mean, I had money out there ready to pay. Everyone ended up taking a shot and just walked out, and I think Wizzo picked up the bill. So that was the first day, and then we all sort of stumbled into the VIP The VIP room, which was the Jaguar Lounge in the Rico Arena. Everything was quiet in there because it was like there's that much pounding music all over the place. You can't hear yourself think, and it still rings in your ears for ages after. And then me and Kong and Cass, who were staying relatively close to each other, all ended up taking a cab back to where we were staying. And that was day 1. Day 2, things went up a gear. I mean, first thing, I went to the place, got there for about 11 o'clock something, because Beatbop was doing a panel. He was showing off 3 new music videos. The first one was Diamonds to You, and that's still not out, but it'll probably be out in a few days, and that's just a dubstep rave. And Melez wanted to come, but he missed it because he was feeling a bit rough. But I say he's glad he missed it, because that thing had a seizure warning at the start of it, Diamonds to You. It's the sort of thing that, well, you know, you've seen that episode of The Simpsons where they go to Japan and they're like, we now return to battling seizure robots, and they all spaz out. You know, they all do the weird eye thing and all fall on the floor and have a seizure. It was like that, but it's really quite catchy. I mean, I'm not usually, you know, a fan of dubstep, but this is a bit of an earworm, the Diamonds to You. And of course, you know, the diamond turns into Pac-Man, and then Pac-Man gets eaten by bigger Pac-Man, and yeah. Anyway, so the next up, Cass and Kong come up on stage and talk about what they've been working on, and they just show like a 30-second teaser of some dude going into a cave with this like muffled music, and he finds a nether portal, and he's quite amazed himself, so he just sort of steps through, and the music kicks in. I think it's All I Want or something like that. And then that was that intro, and they talk a bit about Don't Mind at Night, which is sitting at about 36 million views, something massive like that. We're talking a ridiculous amount of views. I mean, last time I saw them, I think it was about 32 million views, and that was back in I-49. And they'd worked it out that with the entire time that had been spent watching it, it was about 200 years, which is crazy, absolutely crazy. So, yeah. So they spoke a bit about that, and they took some questions from the audience. And then Minecrafter Dan, who I mentioned earlier, he came on and showed off his thing. He is one to watch. I mean, he's done a few things, and I'll link his channel in the description. But his thing, his animation was a parody of Radioactive by Imagine Dragons. And he's been animating. He was animating for 8 months before Beatbop came to him. He started with Cinema 4D or something like that. And he's a pro. He's 16 and he's a pro. I mean, the animation he did, you know, it's Beatbop coming home after fighting a load of mobs. Takes off his wrecked old, you know, iron armor, puts on new diamond armor, enchants it, kills a load of mobs. He's looking good. Tippers is in it. He makes a little cameo. But then he spawns a wither, and the wither is this evil-looking thing, and starts firing out, you know, his bombs out of his mouth, and you just see, I mean, as much as of an ass that Tibber can be in those videos that you see, he's sort of sitting there looking out the window, and the wither spits his bomb at him, and the poor thing just sort of waves as the big, like, death ball flies towards him. And you think, oh no. And that's where it ended. But it was incredible. It was truly incredible. So, like, as I say, his thing will be in the description below. So go and have a look at some of his stuff, because he's got some shorter animations, but this is like his first big gig. So those were the two things, and like I say, Mellors, you're glad you didn't see Diamonds to You, otherwise we'd have carried you away on a stretcher. Then when the evening came, the pub quiz. Now it's got to be another shout out to Beatbop, because you know, he's getting to, what, 500,000 subscribers, so he's at 500,000 people watching him regularly. And he doesn't forget the little guy. Because, you know, when we were going into the pub quiz, you know, apparently you needed this purple wristband to get in. We didn't know about that. So, we were going to be on his team to help out. And we're going in, Cass, Kong, Beatbop get in. We can't because we don't have these tickets. So, Cass comes out and says, how come you've not come in? And I said, oh, well, we haven't got these tickets. So we can't make it, so we might have to either, you know, go to Pizza Hut and get some dinner or sit in the bar. And he goes in and says, right, well, I'll go and have a word and see what we can do. Beatbop comes out and stands with us for a bit, has a word with the staff, and says, look, can you do something for these guys? And they run off and go and get us the wristbands, so we get in. So he got us into the pub quiz, and it was amazing. So, you know, he's an awesome guy, because like I say, 500,000 viewers, and still, you know, looks out for the little guys. So he's a really good bloke, Beatbop is. And when we got in, everything changed a bit. I mean, what me and Mella saw is going to haunt us for the rest of our lives when we walked into the room. There were these guys that called themselves the Sons of Mockery, who were pretty much, well, they looked like the village people. They were bikers that had turned up just for the pub quiz, and well, the team was they called themselves the Gay Bikers. But what we saw was one guy lying on his back on a table with his legs in the air, and the other guy with his junk pressed up to his well, you know. So we just looked at each other and said, yeah, do we want to leave now? But we thought, you know what, if Beatbop's got us in, we should probably make it worth his while for the pub quiz, and hopefully help him out. So we do, and we get in. The whole thing kicks off as a as a paper plane fight. And I just say to Mellors, you know, well, if we've got someone from the US Air Force on our team, then, you know, we'd better win. We better be good at this. So we ended up just stealing a load of other people's planes and then lobbing them all at once. You know, just stockpiling our weapons and that. So when the quiz started, with it being a pub quiz, everyone was getting a bit tipsy. And I'll admit, I had a few. And it was for a good cause, shall we say. We were trying to build a tower out of empty cans of Carlsberg. And boy, the tower that we built was amazing. It was truly amazing. It was absolutely massive. You know, it was about like 10 feet tall. No one could reach the top to add any more on. We were all standing on the table trying to put it on, but nope, couldn't do it. And it's getting dark again. Leg it back. So he does that. The quiz carries on. And, you know, we go on. There's questions all throughout. You know, ones we get, like, there's some daft ones, like, do penguins have knees? Or what's the number that's associated with hinds? I can't remember. It's this way, isn't it, to spawn? And then we get, you know, to the last few questions. And the last question, the last round, say, name that tune from video games. And the last one comes up. And I recognise it, but no one else does. And it takes me a minute to realise that it's the music from Sky Chase Zone in Sonic 2. And it clicked. And I said, mate, this is from Sonic 2, so put that down. And the guy from, I can't remember his name, and I feel really bad, but the guy from Fire UK wrote it down and handed the score sheet in. And while it was marked, everyone in the room ended up singing Bohemian Rhapsody. And the whole thing, the pub quiz was massive. There were hundreds. There was over 100 teams competing in it. You know, we were the Creamy Gingers. We were Team 69. I know, of all the numbers to be, we were Team 69. And we handed ours in. And after singing Bohemian Rhapsody, they came in with the scores. And in third place was third place, best place. How could you make that up? You know, third place, best place came in third. And then they announced in second place the Creamy Gingers, and because we weren't in, we didn't know our team name because we weren't there when it was announced. And Beat Bop just erupted from his seat. He was up and legging it to the front, and we all ended up going on stage, and we won £225, which was spent on more beer. And everyone got completely sloshed except me. I was the boring one. I sat there and I said, right, well, I'll have a glass of tap water because, I don't want to get hammered. And, loads of people got sloshed. There were people fangirling over Cass and Kong because they did Don't Mine at Night. And these were other YouTubers as well. And it's weird seeing one YouTuber fangirl over another YouTuber. And, that evening was mad. It was absolutely mad. I think Beat Bop was drunk and he stayed up the whole night. And he had this camera that was worth about, I don't know, he says it was worth $30,000, but it obviously, you don't really find cameras that are worth that much unless you using them to record Doctor Who or something like that. So he gave it to Cass and Kong to look after, and the next day they held it to ransom. You will only see your camera again if you pay the price of one cappuccino. And I don't think he paid, so for the most of the Sunday, Cass had the camera around his neck. But, I was knackered that day, because I got up to the hotel at about 3 o'clock in the morning, stumbled in. I had to phone my mum because my phone died at 9 o'clock that evening. And she, I'd just dropped off the radar to her. I told her I was alright. And that went on. And then I went to bed and then got up on Sunday, met up. Went to the networking panel with Codename B and Ant Venom and a few guys from Hypixel. And I actually, because I'm quite boring, I found that the most interesting panel. And when they talked about, updating Bucket, I looked over to Mellors and saw the pain that he shared, with those guys in his eyes. Because of all the times he was hosting the public server. And he would have a long night of just, sitting there, fighting with the plugins, trying to update them all. And, but that was a really interesting one. And then, as the con sort of wound up, things got a bit, quieter, and we ended up spending the evening just having a chat, me, Mellors, and Dan. I said my goodbyes, and then I got back on the train home, but it was excellent. I mean, a lot of it, it's a gaming convention, but I just spent most of the time talking with the guys, because, I know I've met Cass and Kong before. I met them at I-49, but it was just good to see Mellors. I mean, we spent a lot of time talking about Minecraft. We were talking a lot about, Krash Palisades and things that we've got, and, I have had ideas since then. So, watch this space. Maybe the next episode could be a prank of some form. We talked a lot about Doctor Who because Mellors, as I've said before in other episodes, he has been in Doctor Who and he has been exterminated by the Daleks, which is incredible. And we talked a lot about Breaking Bad and those days where, there's a certain episode in the 5th series where a gunfight starts and then it goes straight into the credits and everyone either bites the wrist, well, not bites, why would they bite the wrist? Bites the knuckles, or just shakes the TV demanding, why won't you show me more? I have to know what happens. And that's what we talked about. But yeah, Insomnia 51 was incredible. Absolutely incredible. And I'd urge anyone who can make it to something like that, say get a bunch of friends, go together, if you haven't even met them yet, go meet up, because it will be one of those experiences you never forget. And once again, massive thanks to Mellors and Kong and Cass and Beatbot, because you were all awesome. And especially Kong and Cass, and they helped me out a lot that weekend. with getting round and meeting everyone and talking. But yeah, totally insane. I think I've rabbited on enough about Insomnia, so I think I'm gonna call the episode there. Thank you guys so much for watching. You know, links to people like Melez, Dan the Minecrafter, all of them below, because you know you should check them out. Melez is probably gonna have a lot of videos. He's definitely got the great big tower collapsing on our heads, the beer tower. He's got me pushing Beat Bop in the trolley and all of that. So yeah, check him out, check all the other guys out, and I'll see you next time. Because boy, now that we're back, I've got some stuff planned. Take care, guys.